So next question, what will the Giants do with Saquon and his future? This is from Sheely.
Sheila, we just had this conversation in one of our group chats, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forgot who I was talking with. I might have been on FaceTime, actually.
Good. You can respond again.
Yeah. They're in an interesting situation because they picked up his fifth-year option. So, I mean, I only...
We're talking about it with Jarek. Go ahead.
Right. I only see one option here. You pick up his fifth-year option, so he's signed for 2022. After that, you franchise tag him one time and let him walk. I mean, even maybe franchise tag him. It depends if he could stay healthy. The Giants, they messed up taking Saquon at number 2. I know Darnold and Rosen were obviously not the right picks, but maybe a Quentin Nelson, whoever it might be, anyone's probably better than Saquon just because running backs aren't that important in the NFL, especially if you're not Henry. Outside of Derrick Henry, who you get in the second round, Nick Chubb was a second-round pick. You just have so many opportunities to get them later in the draft. You take a running back at number 2. The second he was drafted, he was already a top 10 paid running back, so that takes away from all the other positions that you have to pay. And once you franchise tag him once, I mean, running backs are starting to get paid even more. So if you're going to put a big portion of your salary cap into a guy who can't stay healthy, and even when he has been healthy this year, he hasn't been great. I know there's a ton of problems with the Giants. I think, Gettleman, there's already been reports that he's going to be leaving, which is a good sign. But they have a couple draft picks. They have the Bears pick, their first-round pick. They need to solidify that offensive line. They probably need to get the Kenny Golladay signing was terrible. So Saquon's honestly one of the less of their worries because I think it's pretty simple. You already picked up his fifth-year option. See what he does in 2022. He plays well, you franchised him, then probably let him walk. If he doesn't play well, you just let him walk and cut your losses.
If I'm the Giants, I'm giving Daniel Jones one more year because there's no quarterback in this draft class that is probably deserving. No, yeah, but this is the Giants' future too. I'm guessing it's both.
Did I miss that?
I'm giving Daniel Jones one more year, and then after that, I'm going to get a quarterback if he doesn't pan out. Saquon Barkley, I think it's unfortunate what's happened to him. I feel kind of bad for him because he got injured. He tore his ACL. He missed an entire season, and because of that, he's not going to get paid. And the Giants would be fools to give him a long-term contract. And the way the running back market is right now, I don't think any team is looking at Saquon and saying we're going to give him a big-time deal. I think it would be a mistake if a team does do that. We know the history with teams paying running backs, especially somebody who's had this many injuries. It's sad, but Saquon is a what-if player. That's what he is. After his rookie season, he was phenomenal. Then he got hurt. The Giants had a huge part in mismanaging him, not giving him a offensive line, because with an offensive line, Saquon would have been game-changing, game-breaking, and putting up those stats. But because the offensive line has been horrible, he hasn't been able to do that. Saquon is a what-if player, and that's what he's become, and that's his future, because we know running backs, they last until the rookie contract. Once the rookie contract is up, their career pretty much goes downhill outside of a few players, and unfortunately, I think that's gonna be with Saquon. That's what's gonna happen to Saquon Barkley.
This is tough for me because I love Saquon Barkley. I think he's an unbelievable talent. Unfortunately, he is a what-if player. Gets hurt in ridiculous fashion. I mean, this
kind
season,
of unlucky.
Yeah, very unlucky. The fact that it was a dead ball play and he just twists his ankle like that, what can you really do? I'll give him his credit, though. Last season, had a similar injury, a high ankle sprain, came back, and was fantastic. If you played fantasy football, he was a league winner for you. He was fantastic down the stretch, somehow still finished with over 1,000 yards.
In 2019.
Missing 3 games, yes, excuse me. Last year, he tore his ACL, so that's just what can you do? You chalk it up to
bad luck.
Terrible, terrible luck and horrific injury that you just never want to see a player like him get into. But I think you have to stick with him, and I do think you have to stick with Daniel Jones for reasons why Joel said for Daniel Jones' sake at least. There's not a good quarterback in the draft that could replace Daniel Jones and give you the result that you want to see if you're a Giants fan. It's not going to be an instantaneous overnight change regardless if you decide to go a different route from DJ. I think DJ has been put in another guy who's in an unfortunate situation where the talent that he was supposed to have didn't stay healthy. Golladay in and out of the lineup. Tony in and out of the lineup. Sterling in and out of the lineup. His only reliable option, I guess, is Darius Slay, and I absolutely hate seeing him incorporated into the offense as much as he is. He's a talented guy, sure, but I don't think he's a guy that I want to see get the ball. Darius Slay, excuse me. I said Slay. That's the guy in Philadelphia. Shout out to him. He's playing incredible. But Slayton is getting the ball like 6 to 7 times a game, and I'd rather see the ball get put into Tony's hands where he's easily the most exciting guy in that offense when Saquon isn't there. When Saquon's there, clearly that's the guy for me. And you want to see Golladay stay on the field to maybe get some kind of chemistry with DJ. I think next season, I give receivers a benefit of the doubt coming to the new season first year. You look at history, Allen Robinson, Julio Jones with the new OC. Stephon Diggs is the rare outlier.
It's one thing, though, if you don't play well. It's another thing if you can't stay healthy. And Kenny Golladay showed back-to-back years that he can't stay on the field.
Fair enough, and I'll give you that. And he got his bread, even being an injury-prone type player before.
He got hurt in August.
But before last season, he really hadn't been an injury-prone type player.
Well, he didn't play barely at all his first year, and then it's really like 2 years, and it was just 1 year where he was elite.
He was a freak.
Then after, he really has 1 year of elite production. He got a huge bag from the Giants, which probably wasn't the right move. I like the Corey Davis deal a whole lot more.
Still pretty bad too, though.
Yeah, but from just a financial perspective, it's night and day, honestly, because Kenny Golladay can't stay on the field. But I agree, Kadarius Toney should be the focal point of this offense. I mean, him with the ball in his hands is unbelievable. He's one of the most explosive players I've seen, and this is as a rookie.
He's Debo Jr.
Low-key,
he's just not as big.
Yeah, he's not as physical, but his speed and his elusiveness is out of this world. I just think Saquon's not the type of runner that you could give 20 to 25 carries to, and he's going to want that type of money. That he's going to want that 12 to 15 mil a year, and you just can't give it to him.
You think Saquon's going to want 12 to 15?
That's what he's going to want.
I feel like that's fair, and I think you're right about that.
Settle at 8.
But ultimately, he has to understand that he's not in a position to squander more money out of a team that he's only had one all-world season, and 2 a season where he still missed time but still was great.
Yeah,
it depends on the market.
The Giants have 2 years to play with him, though. He's got this next coming year on the franchise on the 5th-year rookie option. Then he's got a franchise tag, so they got 2 more years really if they want to. The biggest thing is if next year is if he plays well but not great, what do you do? If he could play 16 games and be like a top 10 running back, then what do you do? Because I still think you let him walk.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Oh, yeah, very nice.
So you guys basically have made it very known that running backs are not irrelevant, but they're not really the big picture in terms of paying money. So in terms of running backs in the league, like Nick Chubb, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, let's say those guys, CMC, the elites of the elites, who's the guys that are who's the guys that you would pay because they're available and because they produce?
Very good.
Obviously
that's tough because a lot of them
Saquon.
they just got paid.
I'm paying
Dalvin was one of them that was paying.
So you would pay all of them considering the injuries. You still would pay all of them.
Aaron Jones.
What injury?
I'm saying even considering their injury history, who would you pay? Because from what it looks like, Chubb and Kamara are probably the most reliable because they don't get hurt that much.
JT right now is getting whatever money he wants.
I'm paying all of them.
So you still pay all of them?
The thing, I wouldn't pay Aaron Jones only for the fact they lost. They did exactly, but that's what I'm saying. I didn't think that was a great idea. They should have kept Lindsley. You look at the center position. I'm sure that they would
you pay
love to have
CMC knowing his injury history? Would you pay CMC?
I would.
Yes.
You still pay CMC
for sure
because the Panthers are a different team when he's on the field.
Yeah,
but he has to be on the field.
Yeah, but when he's on there, they're a different team.
Last season is an anomaly. You look at that. Obviously, he missed time with a bunch of injuries. This year, it was a hamstring. He missed that 3-4 games. Came back, and he's been firm since. So if he stays healthy the rest of the season, I'm not worried about the injuries. Right. But if he gets hurt again, I'm with you.
It's
if they're on my team, I'm paying them.
And you could replace them, but you could replace them with non-premium draft picks. Javonte in the 2nd, Michael Carter in the 4th, Jonathan Taylor's 2nd-round pick, DeAndre Swift with the 2nd-round pick. It's just you could replace them at a high level, get running backs who are going to be top 10 without having to use first-round picks on them.
But if it was me, what I'd do is I'd probably draft a running back every single year.
Yeah.
So if I have one that pops, I have another one in the works that can do copy that production. Because honestly, the thing about it is that Nick Chubb, you can't replace his production. He's just.
Dearness came in and looked amazing. Small sample size. But yeah, I agree.
I'm just saying that some running backs, you just got to pay them, especially when they're the focal point of your offense. You just got to pay them. It is what it is.
Yeah, if Baker and Daniel Jones are your quarterbacks, you need to have an elite running back with an elite offensive line.
I don't like that Blake Baker slander, bro. We got to give him a break.